Hello everyone, my name is Karabo Mkubani, and this of course is the first episode of The Forefront. Thank you very much for everybody that is watching. This is literally, it's been very long since we wanted to do this, or I wanted to do this, but finally the day is here, and yeah man, so welcome to The Forefront. First and foremost, I would just like to say that The Forefront is a very safe queer space. It is a safe queer space for young African talented, gifted individuals and creatives. So we will definitely be having different kind of conversations here. We're definitely gonna be bringing different kinds of people. We'll be showcasing different kinds of talents. So this is a super exciting journey, and thank you so much to everybody that is, of course, jumping on the journey with us. Just to give you a background or description of what exactly The Forefront is about. So this is just a broadcasting platform that we are going to be using to have conversation, to use our voices for the power that it has, to tackle certain important things, and just to freely be able to openly have conversations as adults, as queer people, as African people, as gifted people and creatives. So thank you so much. If you are watching this right now, please be advised that it will be available on 2 streaming platforms. You can find the audio on Spotify, and it will also be on YouTube. So if you're watching this, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and make sure that you are first to be notified every single time a video drops. Without any waste of time, we're gonna go into today's conversation. I'm pretty much sure you want to find out what exactly we're talking about. But before that, I'm pretty much sure you guys are asking yourself, who is this gentleman sitting right next to me? I don't know, maybe most of you guys know him, some of you guys probably don't, but I would kindly just like to give him this time to introduce himself.
What's up? Kintsikelelo. It's a pleasure to join you here, and yeah, let's make history. Let's change the world. Let's keep conversations going.
Sure. Firstly, I would just like to thank you so much for making time and being available for today. This is extremely important, and your presence is definitely appreciated.
Yeah, the pleasure is all mine.
So we're talking about queer representation in the South African media / film and television industry. I have one question for you. Before we go, that's the conversation, that's the headline, right?
Yeah.
And before we go deep into detail, I just want to ask you a question. Are you satisfied with the South African queer representation in film and television / the media industry?
I think the first mistake that we did, or you did, when you were introducing the topic, it was talking about the gay representation on South African TV, media, and film. Which one? Which representation? The 2-3 people that we see on TV, or all the straight people acting gay characters on TV? That's what we have to ask ourselves. Is it there? Can we see it? Is there even a topic to start with to talk about? Because there's hardly any representation, not even in the South African film and TV industry or the media space, but I think all across the world, there's very limited representation of gay people. And if we go back to colleges, universities, where people are studying this, we will see there are a lot of gay people actually studying this. They're graduating. Where are they? What's going on? So yeah, I think it's an interesting conversation and a must-have conversation to have.
I feel like you literally did not have to answer my question with a question, but it's okay. I do understand what you're saying. Firstly, you can agree to disagree. You can oppose.
That's why we are.
Yeah. However, I feel like right now the South African film and television industry, as a whole, is really doing well. Like in terms of maybe not gay representation. We have not reached the maximum potential or a fully satisfied status, but we do see it. I think compared to maybe 10 years ago, there is definitely a lot of improvement. I think I've seen now, maybe in the past 3 years, more than 4 shows that actually try to incorporate queer representation. So
But the thing that I'm saying is that there is queer representation. They are written into stories, but who's taking those roles? Who's acting those positions?
so the
Are they
problem
queer
is
people?
so are they the problem is those roles not being given to queer people.
Yeah,
Because-
I think that's
because
the biggest
I-
problem that we have.
Yeah, because I really feel like if we're gonna talk about representation, right?
Yeah.
If the roles are there, if the characters are in the films or in the
Yeah.
telenovelas, that's still representation, right? I could be wrong, but I really feel like it's still representation. So now the problem is that these roles are not given to the fellow queer graduate.
Why don't we find men playing women roles? Why don't we find women playing men roles? Why don't we find white people playing black roles? Why don't we find black people playing Indian roles? Why with gay representation do we need someone to represent us instead of us representing ourselves? This is a question that you should ask yourself.
Yeah.
Why they can't do it for other things, other roles, other parts, but with us we have to take the breadcrumbs. Oh, they wrote about us. Oh, happy, but they still get straight people to play those roles. So are we really represented, or are we just misled and just covered and just dusted? And I think another thing that we have to really highlight, especially now with the growing TV and media industry, is a lot of queer people are at the background, are behind the screen, are the ones in casting, in production, in directing, and everything like that. In script writing, like famous ones that we know, are they? So why are they not saying anything for a no, man? Why not we take one of ours? Why don't we use people who are really true to it? The character will only be alive if the people that are doing the character know the background of it and they live that day each and every day. So why don't we get those representation? Because they are there. There is a lot of talented queer people in the space, and we need to be utilizing them.
Definitely. I mean, it goes without saying that the South African media slash film and television industry has improved. We're now competing on a very international scale, and it's very sad to see that when it comes to queer representation, because I feel like there's so much potential. It would be nice to see a South African young queer individual being casted for shows like Pose. I think we have incredible actors, actresses, and all that. And we, in as much as we are so unsatisfied, I feel like the root of the problem is definitely, I could be wrong, but I think it's bigger. It could be in executive levels. I think we need to look at the whole problem and start with the skeletons, because these are the people that aren't giving the queer child opportunities. Who makes decisions of who is selected for a queer role but is given to somebody who's straight will never be satisfied. And
I think we'll never.
Yeah, I think, but we shouldn't be quiet, I guess, because
This is the thing. I think the reason why I jumped into this specific episode of the show, because of exactly what you're saying. Let this be a conversation. Let's talk. The only reason why our issues are known out there is because we protest, we talk, we take our issues out there, and this is an issue that is ongoing. Back then, when Senzo and Jason came out, that was cool. At least they spoke about us. But 10 years later, they're still speaking about us instead of having us in those conversations.
Exactly.
We need a voice. We need to speak our own stories. We don't need people representing us and talking our own stories when we are talented and can do it.
Definitely.
And I think, like you said, there might be a bigger issue that we're not considering because we both not in those offices where decisions are made. And we don't know why specifically they don't cast queer people. So there might be a bigger issue that we don't know about, and that's why we're taking the conversation out there. People who know tell us so that we can be informed too and know that what we're trying to fight, it shouldn't be an individual fight from only the creatives, but let's fight together with fellow queer people and fellow allies outside in the production, in the executive space where decisions are made. Let's all work together. Let's all fight together. So inform us of what we don't know and listen to us too, people. I'm just a fan of the industry. That's what I'm saying. I'm just a fan. I'm speaking from a fan point of view. So people who are in the industry might know better than both of us.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think that, you know, it's really sad actually to have moved so far ahead, like in terms of, you know, development in the industry and seeing how well everyone else is doing. But it comes across as oppression. It's almost as if we're oppressed. I mean, have you noticed how uncomfortable it is when you're watching a South African telenovela, for instance, where there's a gay storyline and the roles are casted by people that can't even kiss. They're not touching. That is definitely the wrong narrative of queer lives. It definitely does not align with our reality. It's not authentic, and as a queer person sitting there watching that is very uncomfortable. You know, like one of the instances with the big show that was on the big channel, the international channel, with those two guys, you know, where there's a rich aunt who has this, what does she have? An orphanage home, but she's like gangster. Yeah, I hope you guys know which show I'm talking about. But I feel like that's one of the most horrible queer selection in terms of casting, because those guys are definitely not queer. They're not comfortable in those roles, and I really don't think they're bad actors.
But in all fairness, they killed it with the little that they had. They killed it.
I think it was just because it's a job.
Yeah, they killed it with the little they had, but it was gonna be more like the trending show that's on the subscription channel that people can stream. It was trending now for the scene where two heterosexual people had like a sex scene that exploded the internet.
Exactly.
And we still can't have this.
Exactly.
A kiss in jail, guys.
No, it's definitely totally wrong. But I've never. Okay, well, I think I've seen like very, very big productions, like internationally. I think in like small films, not small, but like, you know, your daily shows or like not like just normal series and everything. Even internationally, I've never seen a sex scene on queer basis, you know, make such an outrage or shake things up like that. So I definitely think it's reservation. I don't think it's just a South African problem.
Yeah, it's not.
You know,
it's not a South African problem.
But it would be nice. I mean, it definitely would be nice to get there. Another thing that really upsets me is that South Africa was, I think, the 5th country in the whole world to legalize same-sex and, you know, homosexual marriages, and yet we're still living in constraint. You know, we're supposed to be out there. We're supposed to be living loud. And we're supposed to be, I see, you know, in other industries like fashion, where queer creatives are really, really killing it and taking over, you know, international status and credit. But when it comes to the South African film and television, it's staggering, guys. It's really, really bad, you know.
Yeah. Another thing that really sucks is how the gay characters, once they casted, they're given the same role. All of them are playing the sidekick or the gossiper or the over from Blair's Swan. Why can't we get like main roles? Why can't we get a proper storyline? Why can't we live this truth each and every day, and people know that we live this truth. So we need to be telling different stories. And I think another thing that needs to happen is a lot of filmmakers and storytellers who are actually queer should start jumping on and telling our stories, because we can't leave it to the heterosexual to tell our own stories and write us in. Let's write our own stories, let's have our own voice, let's do our own thing, because they clearly don't want to stay.
I definitely feel like that is extremely difficult, because imagine if a queer child, a queer graduate, an incredible queer child cannot even get a role casted on a telenovela or on a show or whatever on radio. It's almost twice as heavy to, you know, produce a whole series, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
And we're oppressed, like it literally is oppression. We're segregated. The people that we possibly need collaborative effort with do not want to give us that opportunity. They don't want to collaborate with us. And you know, I'm not saying it's impossible to do on our own, but I'm just saying that it becomes 2 times harder.
Yeah.
You know, because
that's true.
That's really true. And also there's just a lot of issues when it comes to the queer child. You know, I see on TikTok, for instance, there's thousands of incredible queer South African individuals that are even getting headlines on newspapers, you know, credit, big shout outs on blogs, on tabloids, saying that this person from this particular township is doing this. This person was posted by one of the greatest international acts on the Instagram page because they acted out as them, or you know, there's so much, but we're not getting it from, you know, the right places.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do you think there's a solution to this? Or
Now, I think like what you just mentioned now with TikTok and all these other platforms that are growing, it's giving us more recognition,
Yeah.
or not recognition as such, but it's giving us a platform that we can utilize to be able to tell our own stories. And I think that's where we should start.
Yeah.
Let's use the little that we have, like Miss Universe, the former Miss Universe, Zoe said. Let's take up space. I think that's the only way. Whatever you're a doctor, accountant, in the media industry, in social media, wherever you are, let's try and take up space and make our voice heard wherever we are.
Yeah.
Let's stand for ourselves and let's start telling our own stories. Let's stop hiding behind the status quo and this is what policy said, this is what do. Let's fight and try to, because even what you just said, that we are the first country to legalize. It didn't just happen. We didn't just wake up and it happened. People before us had to fight for that.
Definitely.
So let's fight for our space too. Let's try and occupy whatever space that we're trying to get into and make our voices heard wherever we are. I think that's what's going to be important. And using the little that we have, the little platforms that we have, let's try. Like now, what we're doing, let's use the little platforms that we have to take our voices and our stories out there.
Definitely. And that is my motto. I always say that it is extremely important to use your voice for the power that it has. Your voice is a weapon that you can use literally to change anything and to bring anything into life. But I just wanted to touch on something, right? I'm not sure if it was 2017. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the person's name. Should I not? But okay, I'm gonna say the movie's name because it's already out. There's a movie that came out in, I think, 2017. It was called
When it was a huge fight.
Yeah,
There was a
and
huge
the
fight.
outrage was crazy. So I feel like also just that outrage from normal people, from certain cultures, you know, from.
But I think that's what we need. I don't think if there was that big an outrage, they would have gotten the numbers they got.
Definitely.
That publicity helped us and put the movie out there around the world. And it was big. So I think that's what I'm saying. Let's fight for our positions. If they fight, let them fight us. But we are gonna say we here, and we are gonna tell our stories, and we're gonna use whatever outrage that they have as building blocks to wherever we're gonna reach. So I don't think, even with our conversation, we're gonna get a lot of
outrage.
People,
you know,
homophobic people who's gonna come out and say no, we wanna occupy. That's what they say. We wanna be everywhere. What about the kids? What are we teaching the kids and everything like that? So as long as they fight, let it be motivation for us to fight even more and say we are here, whether you like it or not, we are here. So I like that you use that example because that's a perfect example of how the population, the community reacts to what we have to do and what we have to say. So let's fight.
I think for me, the only thing that really got me a little bit unsettled, you know, with the whole outrage was that movie, you know, me being a South African young queer, you know, individual or being, it was so authentic because it literally highlighted of some of the things that we really go through. It was literally so authentic. It was not an idea that is created in these films or these young short stories. It was literally like that, and it pained me, or rather, it really got me very unsettled that when we become authentic, people don't want to see that, but an idea of us that is put out there or an illusion that's portrayed is so celebrated. And why is it appropriate for a fake, you know, life of a queer child to be put out there? We want to be authentic, you know, we want to be originals, We want to be able to tell our stories in a manner that really speaks to us. We want people to go through our experiences and see exactly what we go through, you know?
Yeah, that I agree with.
Yeah, so it
That I totally
definitely,
agree with.
it definitely was a thought-provoking kind of outrage, but I guess we all reacted to it very differently. I like the mere fact that even, you know, heterosexual people were outraged, or they had to think, or it touched
a
them.
conversation.
It created
And
hell.
and there was a lot of backlash
Yeah.
from a certain tribe, but fortunately most people around the country supported it.
Yeah.
It was just that, and I think the backlash was not actually about the homosexuality of it. It was now exposing a cultural ritual. I think that's what I understood about the outrage, like exposing the cultural ritual. But that's our truth, that's our story, and we need to be telling our stories. No matter how uncomfortable it makes people, let's tell our stories, and let's just stop being apologetic about who we are and considerate of other people's feelings and emotions and everything like that. That's our story, that's our truth, and let's continue telling it.
I think for me, it's just like, I think that there'll forever be a problem every single time there's an outrage where there is queer, or like there's, you know, like a gay character, or it will definitely be questionable for me, because in other things there's so many films that tell different stories about rape, about you know, different things, you know, about diseases, and people still manage to get the lesson behind that. But this outrage, because there's like, you know, a queer act that happened, or a queer scene, or a sexual queer scene, everybody was outraged. That really got me a little bit unsettled. Yeah, but however, I really do feel like we still have a long way to go. I think that we've established, and there's definitely still a lot of things that we really need to change. You know, in South Africa, it would really be nice to see us where we want to be.
Yeah, I'm here for the first homosexual president of South Africa. So till we reach those stages, I feel like we'll never be satisfied with what we get. How many queer people are in parliament? Do we even know the stats, or is it not sufficient enough for us to tell?
Yeah, like,
so I think there's a lot of spaces that we need to occupy. Just that this one was the one that we highlighted.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of spaces that we need to occupy, and my only thing is that guys, let's continue talking about it. Let's continue fighting. Let our voice not be dimmed, or people not to listen to us. Let's make people listen and take up space.
Definitely. I like what you just said now about us using our voices, because I think a lot of times people don't say anything.
Yeah.
And that becomes a huge setback.
I feel
for
like
us.
a lot of us has been in a situation where we just let things go and don't say anything.
We literally normalize letting things slide.
Yeah.
And the little things that we let slide are obviously a generational curse, because now even the coming generations are still going to be stuck in this same positions that we find ourselves in. So it's incredibly important for us to continue having conversations. I'm glad that we were able to touch base on this. If you are watching this, do care to send us your thoughts. Would really like you to reach out on the comments section. Hit us up on our social media pages. You can follow the podcast on Twitter. It is podcast_KM. And my personal social media handles are @GaraboAngel, small caps with an underscore at the end, both on Twitter and Instagram. Check me out on Facebook. I am Karabo Mukubani, and I would like you to also share your social media handles if you're comfortable.
Yeah, MEGOS_KUSE, Megos_Kuse on Instagram, if I'm not wrong.
And Twitter.
No, on Twitter is Megos MEGOSKUSE, Megos Kuse, no underscore, nothing. Yeah, I'm not sure about Instagram, but you can check it out. Just type in Megos Kuse, it will pop up. I'm the only one, so you're gonna get me.
How do you know?
I know. I know. I'm unique.
Not the only Ntsikelelo Khuse in South Africa.
That's why I'm Megos. No, I am the only Ntsikelelo Khuse
In South Africa. No, you're not.
My parents were creative.
Like Ntsikelelo is a very like popular name. It means blessing, right?
Yeah, but
So-
not a lot of people have it, and not a lot of people use the full name. People use Ntsiki or Lelo more.
I think it's because I've heard somebody being called Ntsikelelo before.
Yeah, they are Ntsikelelo, Ntsikelelo Khuse. Even my surname, there's not a lot of us.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Are
no
you,
lot.
is this guy telling me that his family literally came up with a surname?
No.
Like, and it's only them? Like,
no, it was spelled wrong, dog. So
Oh.
yeah, so it's not a lot of us.
It's
So
not
it's just-
uniqueness, it's not
Yeah.
creativity.
So it was there's a few, but because it's only us now. It's only us now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Megos Khuse on all social medias, depending on how you write it. I feel
So
like
it's
just
MEGOS_KUSE on Instagram. That's what you said.
I'm not sure,
How
but
do you,
just
do you use
just
the social media?
I do. Just search Megos Khuse, it will pop up. Either with an underscore or nothing.
Alright guys, so there you have it. He is Ntsikelelo Khuse and you can find him on Twitter as well as Instagram.
Thank you.
Please check him out. Let's continue having the conversation. We can definitely still continue. Send us your thoughts, man, and make sure that you subscribe on the YouTube channel as well as other streaming platforms. You will find this audio on Spotify. Big shout outs to that. You can listen to the audio without having visuals on it. And we'll definitely be back for more conversation. There's still a lot of room to improve, a lot of things to talk about. And is there any last words that you want to share with the people?
Nah, thank you for having me, dog. Babe. Thank you for having me, babe.
Yeah.
It was a good one, and let's continue doing this. Let's occupy spaces. Let's talk. Let the conversation carry on social media. Let them hear us that we're complaining and we hear when I say it's in and we're not going anywhere in every industry that we're in.
So yeah, man, big shout outs. Thank you so much once again. My name is Karbo Angel, and of course I'm sitting with Ntsikelelo Khuse. See you guys again some other time. But until then, we love you so much and thank you for coming through, babe. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for
I never would have done this proper without you. I appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Guys, we're out of here.
Sure.